Do you have something that you truly, relentlessly desire? Despite your state of life, is there something else that you would go completely to the end of the world to get? Well, lucky for you, there's a way to achieve what you're looking for, and you won't need to go to the end of the world to get it. But you will need to go somewhere, and the place that may be too out of reach for some. It's not far away, closer than one may believe, but there's requirements that some individuals may not meet. First, whatever it is that you seek, know that you must seriously desire what you want. In your eyes, it should be something that you need. Do not use a vehicle too large or noticeable, as you'll need some sort of cover at night to be most safe. Also, while any sort of car will do, you may not want to choose the most expensive or most cherished vehicle. You can take a slick new black Mercedes for a drive if you like, but don't expect to come back in pristine shape. Make sure your vehicle is completely fueled before beginning the drive. The first task to accomplish is to locate the road. It doesn't have a name, it's not on the map, and technically, it doesn't even exist. It will only show up if you're looking at the right time, and you'll only spot it if you know what you're looking for. Finally, you must be alone during the journey. You didn't think that you'd be able to go with a group, did you? It must be night when you begin. Choose the time of night where you believe the roads are the least populated. Drive to a tiny area that's just a stretch of road surrounded by woods. Here's where you'll want to start paying attention. If you're looking at the road, it will turn up eventually, but you'll need to search for the road's hint in order to pull down the right one. Once you're close, you'll see or feel its signs, but what the signs will be will depend on what you desire. For example, if you're in search of wealth, you may spot shimmers in the empty branches of the trees as if they resembled shines of gold or diamonds. If you seek love, you may begin to see rose petals slowly dance in the light breeze, blowing in the road's direction. If you seek revenge, you may sense an ever-growing feeling of heat or anger as your body approaches. Once you're sure you found the revealed road, take a deep breath and turn on into it. At this point, you've officially started down the nameless road, which will bring you through 11 miles, leading you to whatever you seek. Before you go any further, stop the car and be wary of a few advisements. Do not turn on the radio during the drive. Do not use a phone during the drive. Reception would be cut off anyway. Don't open the window during the drive. Make sure they're closed before you continue. If you're riding in a vehicle without windows or a top, then prepare for the worst, as the odds are heavily against you. Do not attempt to leave your vehicle at any time. You'll never want to exceed 30 miles per hour unless you're desperate to make it through the section of the road. And most importantly, as with any drive, buckle up. Feel free to prepare and make sure you're ready. Once the road has been entered, time is stopped, so you don't need to worry about losing the night. Though you may not notice, you're not actually in your world anymore. Take one last moment to realize that once the first mile is over, there's no turning back. If you ponder turning back at all, know that you shouldn't even be on the journey in the first place. Once it's all done, start continuing up the road. On the first mile, you won't see much change. The road passes through mostly woods with a few miles of an exception. The air will turn a bit colder in which you should turn your heating system if the vehicle has one. You won't want to take your eyes off the road, though. Take some time to calm your uneasiness by admiring some of the nighttime sky. You'll see it completely lined with stars, more than you would ever believe possible. If the weather was cloudy beforehand, you'll notice the sky is now clear. On the second mile, the air will become even colder. This is primarily the reason why traveling in an open vehicle is very difficult. With each mile, the air will drop in temperature, even if the season should be warm. If the air is too cold to bear, even with the heat on, your only option is to speed up. With each mile, the road also becomes more complex, taking more turns and slowing and increasing the amount of road hazards. Be sure to always keep focused on the road in front of you in order to avoid many bumps or obstacles if possible. Hitting a few rocks and potholes won't hamper your progress too much, but you'll want to keep it in the best condition for as long as possible. If your vehicle is forced to stop because of damage, there's nothing left you can do but eventually freeze to death. On the third mile, you may begin to spot silhouettes of human figures in the lining of the trees. Pay no attention to them, even if they seem to get closer. It'll be hard to resist peeking at their unnerving, distant appearance, but know that they'll reveal themselves later. At this mile, the road will become dirt if you weren't driving in it in the beginning. Keep to the center of the path as it'll become narrow and wide at random intervals. On a quick side note, should you ever attempt to return around, despite the previous warnings, you'll be left on a path which never ends. You would simply run out of fuel eventually and be left to freeze in the cold conditions. On the fourth mile, you not only see more of the figures, but you'll begin to, in a sense, hear them. In the back of your mind, a very faint, unintelligible whisper will echo. These will come and go, but you can't stop them. If they become too bothersome or distracting, try to tune them out by thinking of what it is you desire. Attempting to listen and determine what the voices are saying will only attract them to you, and you want to be far away from them as you can. They'll be closer later, so there's no use in bringing them to you this early. On the fifth mile, you'll come to a clearing. The lining of trees to your left will disappear to reveal a lake with no end, with a great moon over the water. The illumination from the moon will be so spectacular that the vehicle's headlights will no longer be required. Restrain yourself from gazing at it. If you look right at its light for even more of a few seconds, the road in front of you will end, throwing your vehicle into the water in which you'll freeze in mere minutes. The voices will be gone for this mile, but don't rejoice yet, they'll be back. On the 6th mile, take into account that you're more than halfway done. Despite the progress, you may lose hope here. The stars will have disappeared at this point, leaving the sky empty. The clearing will have ended, leading you back into the woods. The only light you'll have will be provided by your vehicle's headlights, but they'll flicker from time to time, even if they're in perfect working order. If you have a radio in the vehicle, it'll turn on automatically. If you have a radio in the vehicle, it'll turn on here automatically. If you didn't turn it on beforehand, it'll produce an overwhelming screech that will send you off the path. A calm voice will then begin to speak about your greatest fears, what it is that horrors you in your life. It'll speak in a way that will cause you to visualize the words in your mind, so don't listen to it. If you begin to comprehend what it's saying, the horrors will prove too much for you to stay on this road safely. Attempting to turn off the radio will prove no use. Speed up if you need to. Just keep your mind off the voice as much as you can. As you approach the end of the mile, the voice will fade out of the speakers, leaving your ears at peace. For now. On the 7th mile, the voices from the figures will return. It won't sound like a whisper this time, but more like distant screams growling closer with every second. At some point on this mile, you'll hear one of them in your ears, as if one of them were right behind you. This is because one of the figures have found their way into your vehicle. Do not turn around. Their faces will shock you into paralysis, leaving you off the road. If you don't draw attention to it, it'll become uninterested and hopefully leave. These beings are said to be one of those who have traveled down the road before but were not successful. They live in the remainder of the existence suffering in the darkness with their only goal to bring other travelers down with them. It's been said from experience that these beings can't physically harm you, so as long as they don't, it won't cause a wreck and you'll be fine. The 8th mile, slow down if you're going too fast. The road here takes very sharp turns, which if overshot will lead to throw the vehicle into a pit of trees. The cold is near fatal here. If you were to have a glass or a bottle of liquid in your vehicle, it would be solid in seconds. The heating system would have completely been obsolete. Your headlights would flicker more, sometimes shutting off for a few seconds. You should brake if this happens, but do not completely stop. Their hands will claw at your windows, desperate to reach in and feel something living. Don't look at them. They won't block your windshield, and the last thing you want to happen is to crash and be trapped with them. If you don't make it from here, then pray that the freezing ends you. On the 9th mile, your vehicle will stall. The headlights will shut off, as with all the systems inside. There's nothing you can do to prevent this. What you'll need to do is close your eyes and immediately attempt to restart your vehicle. Keep your eyes closed, as the figures would have surely surrounded you at this point. The starting of the vehicle will frighten them, and they will have to turn back temporarily. This will give you a chance to start moving again. If you begin to hear the windows crack from the struggle, don't lose focus. The beings can alter the vehicle, but remember that they still do not have the strength to physically affect you. You'll hear nothing but their voices rampage in your mind, as it could be anywhere between a dozen and 100, Once you start the vehicle, floor it as long as you can to stay on the path. When the mile's done, the beings will retreat. On the 10th mile, the voices of the beings will stop. If you were to look in your rearview mirror, do not actually do this. You'll see them following you, but not as if they were chasing. They're watching you as if they're seeing you off, as if you were back on the 1st mile. The figures will be lining the sides of the path ahead of you. They won't be after you, but they'll watch you as you pass. Some have theorized that the beings are impressed here. You've come a long way on this journey to what you desire. This is false. They're not impressed, but they're happy. They're happy you're about to approach the next mile. They're happy because you're most likely going to your death. On the 11th mile and final mile, everything in your vehicle will lose power as it did on the 9th mile. The vehicle would normally be immobile, but you'll still be moving. An unknown force will be pulling you forward in the darkness. You'll see a glowing red light up ahead, as if it were a light at the end of a tunnel. Close your eyes and cover them. Do whatever it takes to make sure you don't see what you're about to go through. Covering your ears would also be helpful, but keeping your eyes covered should be a higher priority. The red light is another clearing, but there's no moon or lake this time. Once it's entered, unrelenting and inconceivable noises will sound from all directions. No amount of bravery and conditioning will spare you from these sounds. You'll feel the illusion of the flesh being burned off of your bones, and every part of you is being destroyed as you travel through screams and audible sufferings. As long as you keep your eyes closed and resist the urge to see where you are, you'll survive through the suffering. This will last a total of 31 seconds, but many fail to keep their vision closed during this time and are left to the worst fate of the road. Where is this mile located? Those who have survived do not know. Some have named it the transmission from hell, but whether it's a part of hell is debatable. After the final mile, power will return. Stop the vehicle. Take a moment to possibly regain some of your sanity. Let the screaming in your ears begin to fade, and know that you have nearly completed your journey with the hardest task overcome. Breathe and begin to drive forward once again. After only a kilometer, your vehicle will arrive at a dead end. Stop here and don't attempt to move again. Nothing will happen right this second, but don't be disappointed. Relax and close your eyes. Imagine in your mind what it would be like and what you desire the entire time. It'll most likely still be the same as when you entered, but with some of this desire, it may actually change through making this journey. Think about what it was that you went through such terrifying and such difficult means to acquire, and imagine possessing it with your hands. Once you've completely visualized this, slowly open your eyes. You'll then find yourself at the beginning of the unnamed road where you first began. This may confuse you, but know that you've finished. Your task is done. Your mind will then turn to your reward. If what you desired was material, check in your back seat or in the trunk if the object is larger. If your object was small enough, it might be already in your pocket. If what you desired was non-material, then do not be disappointed if the change is not immediate. Turn back to where you came from, and you'll find in your life that what you wanted is there. You may have found the love of your dreams. You may have gained unnatural, unimaginable power. You may have put your most hated enemy in the most satisfying revenge possible. You'll have no doubt gained what you deserved. So now that the task is done, what's the catch? Is your vehicle cursed? Is there something you're about to lose? Is your death imminent? The answer to all is no, of course. You've done the challenge. You've proven worthy of what you desire. As stated before, the sounds of the 11th mile will continue to exist in your mind, potentially causing you some vivid and unusual nightmares, but these should prove as nothing compared to what you've gained. Now, the last question. Is there something else you desire? Are you not yet satisfied? After all, you're left right back where you started. The road's right in front of you. So, are you up for another drive? If so, buckle up and just move forward.